Hey guys, it's Matt Zaddy here from the Guitar Shop with some tips and tricks on learning heavy metal songs and metal in general.
What do you know about metal?
Little bit. Just a little. Outside of the technique that you're working on, you're also going to want to study the song itself. You're going to want to think about what kind of song structure does it have. Does it have like a Western pop song sort of format where there's a verse and a chorus and a bridge? Or a lot of metal has more of like a series of movements as opposed to having that traditional structure. So that's also something you're going to want to think about when you're learning these tunes. You also are going to want to know about the timing that the song is in. Does it have one steady meter all the way through? Is it in 3/4 or 4/4 or 6/8? Does it have odd metered timings, and does the tempo shift all over the place? These are important things to think about when you're learning tunes so that you can make sure that you can transition comfortably from one part to the next. See if the transitions in the song that you're working on stick to the normal structure, like if it goes right from the verse into the chorus, or if there's this little lick thing that kind of places itself in there, because all of these things are things to consider when you're learning the song, because ultimately that's what we're trying to do here. Something else to think about is to study the players that you want to emulate or the players that you look up to. Metal is as varied a genre as you're going to get, and you're going to have guitar players of all different shapes and sizes and skill levels and different specialties. So if there's one band or one style that you dig into that material. You know, watch their videos, listen to their songs. If there's something that you hear something in their song that you don't understand, find out what it is and learn it. If you really want to understand how somebody does something, do what they do. I'm a big prog metal guy, so if I really want to be able to play like Animals as leaders, I'm going to have to study it, and I'm going to have to learn it.
Oh man, you telling me I have to study this stuff? I have to actually put the work in? I have to actually try?
Yes. Yes, you do. Yes, you most definitely do. And applying good general practice habits to playing metal will also make a really big difference. You're going to have to relax. When you're playing, you have to remember that, especially when you're playing aggressive music where there's lots and lots of picking involved, it's very easy to tense up and then all of a sudden you're going like this, which can cause repetitive stress injuries and will make for something that doesn't sound nearly as good. So you're going to have to slow down and then kind of push at that tempo a little bit at a time to get faster and faster, but keeping it relaxed. You're also going to want to metronome the hell out of it, and you can take the hardest parts of the songs and turn those into exercises. Metal, in a lot of ways, can be a really good checkup from the hands up, I guess, in terms of where you are with your technique and where you are with your timing. You know, like how well can you really rock that 16th note pattern, how well can you hit that chugging riff, and how well can you transition in between them while still maintaining time and making it feel good. You're going to need to cycle it with a metronome. There are no two ways about it. Make the metronome your friend. It makes a big difference. Set some tempo goals with what you're working on. If your goal is here and you can play it right here really consistently, you know, set 5 BPM higher at a time or whatever you need to in order to reach that goal. Like I said, you're pushing against that tempo with your current ability, trying to build that skill and that strength in your playing. I usually recommend for people to be able to play the song a little bit faster than the actual tempo of the tune, because when you get excited, most of us tend to speed up a little bit. So it's good to have it a little bit faster than what it actually is, so that when you're playing it at tempo, it feels really comfortable. Often in a live setting, you've got lights, you've got loud drums, you've got amps, you've got people coming at each other, Braveheart style. It gets exciting, and everybody has a tendency to play a little bit faster in a live setting, so you want to make sure that you have a really good command of the song a little faster so that you can nail it.
Can't play metal on a Strat, eh? Tell that to Jean Levasseur from Cryptopsy.
Some other things to remember: practice, don't just noodle. Work on the things that you specifically need to work on and use your time wisely. Don't just be like, yeah, look at this sick riff, bro, that you can play 100 times without much effort. Do what you gotta do. Songs of a technical nature quite often expose the flaws and the weaknesses in our playing, so be prepared for that. With anything that you're working on, especially when you're working on something that's above your level, you're going to suck at it first. And basically, you're going to suck at it until you don't. But little steps like this. You're not going from here to here. There's a process. Take the hardest parts of the song that you're working on and turn them into your strength. Make exercises around those parts. Loop those parts in time with a metronome so that you can really feel it. And when you focus on the hardest parts of the songs and the parts that you're playing that you're at the weakest at, your playing as a whole really comes to a new level. Track your tempos and record yourself as well. If you really want to hear how good a player you are, Listen to yourself recorded. There's no hiding it when it's no longer in the first person. Other techniques that we're going to talk about in future videos include things like artificial and pinch harmonics, sweep picking with tapping and with slides, finger tapping in general, one-handed or two-handed, and also learning how to control your feedback and control your gear so that you can get the sound that you want. Really get inside the music, get to know it from the bottom up. You want to learn this music, deconstruct it, and really find out what makes it tick.
Every metalhead I know is a sucker for a cat.
It's also a good idea to have some really good resources to help you learn this stuff. While I'm a big fan of trying to learn as much as we can by ear, sometimes playing metal with the amount of distortion or gain going on, it can be hard to pick out the individual parts, so it's good to have quality resources so that you know you're getting something that's as close to accurate as possible. If it's a reasonably popular song, odds are somebody has created a tab for it. I always like to Google whatever the song or the artist name is, or both, and then guitar PDF, because then it brings up a file that somebody has created. GuitarAlliance.com and Guitar.ch are two of the best resources I've seen for popular music in general, and there's a whole lot of metal on there. Songster has some decent charts on there as well, but like with any charts you're going to find, there's typically going to be some errors in it that you're going to find. I will typically use Ultimate Guitar last because all of the errors. Unless you have a paid account and then you get official tabs, and then they're much more likely to be accurate. Haha! YouTube is another great resource if you're trying to learn songs. These days a lot of artists will put out playthrough videos, or there's lots of artists covering videos, and some of them, especially the ones that do teaching, will have some kind of a tab going along with it. So with YouTube's function where you can slow down or speed up the music, that can be a really handy tool, especially if the video's got the tab built into it. With all that being said, anybody who's making tab is trying to listen to these recordings and interpret it and make it to be something that is as close to it as possible, but nobody gets it perfect all the time, every time. When I was younger, I was trying to learn Crazy Train, and I bought these two different guitar mags, and they each had the tapping part of the solo very differently, and I ended up having to trust my ears to figure out which one was the correct one. At the end of the day, trust your ears. That, or find the artist's official tabs, or find a video of the artist and slow it down, and you get it.
Every metalhead I know is a sucker for a cat.
You really got to immerse yourself in this music. I don't listen to metal as consistently every day as I did when I was younger, but every time that I put this music on, there's something about it that's special that just gets you excited. So really get involved in it. Make it a part of a balanced breakfast. And of course, have a good metal face. That's my metal face. You're probably like, why was he doing that the whole video? Does he have to go to the bathroom or something? Bah. My personal tastes in metal are across the board, from the more traditional kind of metal sounds to all these hybrid subgenres and things like that. There is a ton of really good music out there for you if you go and look for it. My band was a big mix of like math metal and grindcore and death metal and kind of circusy stuff like Mr. Bungle. Speaking of which, check out that record of theirs, Disco Volante, and you'll hear some of that in starring Janet Leigh, for sure. He's so grumpy! So thanks so much for watching this video. If you do like the content we're creating, be sure to like and subscribe and share and click that little dingy bell thing to get all those notifications. Yeah. Be sure to check out the Matt Zaddy channel as well for my original music and some other video content that I'm doing on there. Lots of fun stuff. I really enjoyed making this video myself, delving into a specific genre, so if you do like this, please let us know in the comments, and then we're happy to expand on this video. If there's tips that you think we missed that were really important, share the knowledge, guys. That's what we're doing here. Share the love. Metal love! Big thanks, as always, to the Guitar Shop, and yeah, let's go shred. And now, here's a lounge version of a Cannibal Corpse song, just for fun.
Ripping through flesh is